You ever get that feeling as a developer where you're just stuck? Like you're solving the same kind of problem over and over again, just in different ways? Well, today we're going to talk about the key that unlocks that problem, design patterns.
So, what's the deal with them? Are they some kind of secret weapon for writing amazing, reusable code? Or are they just a bunch of academic buzzwords that trick us into building these ridiculously over-engineered messes? Honestly, it's a huge point of confusion. So, let's cut through all that noise and figure out what they really are. All right, to really get what design patterns are all about, we've got to go back, way back. See, these things weren't cooked up in some university lab. They were discovered right there in the trenches of software development, born from a real need to solve problems that just kept showing up. Picture this. It's 1994. Object-oriented programming is the next big thing. But developers everywhere are running into the same roadblocks again and again, project after project. And four really smart engineers saw this pattern and thought, hey, we should probably do something about this. And these four guys, Eric Gama, Richard Helm, Ralph Johnson, and John Vlasides, they became famously known as the Gang of Four. And what's so cool is that they weren't trying to invent anything new. They were just paying attention, identifying, and writing down the really elegant solutions that the best programmers were already using to solve these common problems. So they put everything they found into this one book. And it, immediately became a legend in software engineering. It broke down 23 classic patterns, using languages like C++ and Smalltalk, and it gave developers a shared vocabulary, a way to talk about common problems and their solutions. Okay, and this right here, this is the most important thing to get. A design pattern is not a chunk of code that you just copy and paste. It's an idea, a concept. Think of it like this. It's not a blueprint for a specific house. It's the concept of an archway. You know an archway supports weight over an opening. That's the problem it solves. But you can build one out of brick or stone or wood. The pattern is the idea, not the specific thing you build. Okay, that's the theory. But what does this actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's take a super common task and see how a pattern can make our lives a whole lot easier. We'll use one of my favorites, the facade pattern. So let's say you want to get the current weather from some online service. Seems simple, right? Well, let's look at what's really going on under the hood. You've got to create an HTTP client, build the request, set the right headers, send it, check the status code to make sure it's okay, read the response, parse a bunch of messy JSON, and oh yeah, you have to handle errors at literally every single step. It's a total mess of tangled logic. And this mess? This is exactly the kind of problem the facade pattern was made for. Just like the front, the facade of a building hides all the complicated pipes and wiring inside. This pattern gives you a simple, clean interface that hides a whole bunch of complex stuff behind it. One simple door to a complicated system. And here's the magic. Look how it cleans everything up. Your code doesn't care about HTTP or JSON anymore. Nope. You just make one simple call, something like get weather Madrid. The facade object grabs that and does all that ugly behind-the-scenes work for you. The complexity is just gone. It's a perfect example of how a pattern can make your code way easier to understand and work with. But, and this is a really big but, patterns aren't set in stone. The facade is a classic, but remember that book was written for languages from the 90s, like C++ and Smalltalk. As our programming languages get better, the best ways to solve these old problems change too. Just look at this comparison. Back in the day with C++, you might have used all these complicated inheritance trees, but in a more modern language like Go, the whole approach is different. Go is all about composing small things together instead of inheriting big things. And for something like concurrency, you don't need a complex pattern because Go has things like Go routines and channels built right in. The core problem hasn't changed, but the solution looks totally different. And this whole evolution thing leads us right to the single biggest criticism of design patterns, the temptation to use them when you don't need to. And that, my friends, is how you create a labyrinth of pure complexity. I mean, listen to this quote. It just nails it. The danger is that once you learn about patterns, you start seeing them everywhere. You get a hammer and suddenly every problem looks like a nail. You can build layers and layers of patterns to solve a simple problem, and you end up creating what the author here calls an absolute hell. The very tool that was supposed to make things simpler ends up making them impossible to change. So the big question is, how do you avoid that trap? Well, it all comes down to a really simple but powerful shift in your mindset. You have to start seeing patterns for what they truly are. They're tools, not rules. This is it.
This is the mindset you need. Don't go looking for a place to use a pattern. No, start with your problem. Write the absolute simplest code you can that solves it. Then, as your code grows and changes, you might start to see a pain point, a recurring issue. That's the moment. That's when you open your toolbox and ask, hey, is there a well-known pattern that elegantly solves this exact kind of problem? And that's the real power here. It's not about being clever or using fancy terms. It's about being clear. It's about having a shared vocabulary to recognize a common problem and apply a solution that's been tested for decades. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about the code you're working on right now. What's the ugliest, most tangled part of it? There's a pretty good chance there's a design pattern out there that is the perfect tool to finally clean it up.